Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're going deep on something a little different, something deeply personal.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at the intersection of faith and technology. I mean, let's face it, in today's world, technology is everywhere.
Yeah, it really is. It's really woven into, well, almost every aspect of our life these days.
And that's why we thought it would be really interesting to take a look at how this incredible rise of technology is affecting our faith.
Mm.
We even got a prayer sent in from one of our listeners on this very topic.
Oh, wow.
This listener is wrestling with how to stay connected with their faith in this increasingly tech-driven world.
I think that's a struggle that a lot of people are facing today.
Yeah, it's a really timely topic, isn't it?
It is, which is why I think this is going to be such a fascinating deep dive. I mean, this prayer, it brings up some big questions about how we're all navigating faith in a world that is just saturated with tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was one phrase in this prayer that really jumped out at me. It said, "May we not let the subtle God of technology and AI take your place, dearest Father." Wow. What are your thoughts on that? What stands out to you about that phrase?
Well, I think for me, the word that really hits home there is subtle.
Hmm.
It suggests that this isn't about some, dramatic, outright rejection of faith.
Right.
It's more about this gradual, almost sneaky kind of fade,
Yeah.
where convenience and efficiency, those become the driving forces behind our choices, and it happens almost without us realizing it.
It's kind of like that analogy of the frog in the boiling water.
Yeah, exactly.
If you turn up the heat slowly enough,
Yeah.
the frog won't even realize it's being cooked.
Yeah.
It's a powerful image, and I think it really gets to the heart of what this prayer is talking about. And then the prayer goes on to say, sometimes I struggle for words, and it's so convenient to ask ChatGPT for help.
Yeah.
It almost feels like there's this hesitation there,
Yes.
this feeling that maybe turning to technology for answers is somehow easier than, engaging in prayer.
Well, it is easier. I mean, that's the challenge. Technology, it offers us these quick fixes. It gives us instant gratification.
Mhm.
But can it really, truly address, the deeper yearnings of the soul? This part of the prayer actually reminds me of the work of Professor Cal Newport. He talks about what he calls digital minimalism.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
He argues that constantly seeking these quick hits of dopamine from technology, it can actually get in the way of us engaging in deeper spiritual reflection.
So it's not just about replacing prayer with ChatGPT.
Right.
It's about what that choice represents. It's about maybe a shift away from stillness,
Yeah.
from grappling with those really big questions in life.
Absolutely. It's possible that technology is providing a solution on one level, but at the same time, it could also be preventing us from developing those spiritual muscles, the ones we need to really grapple with life's complexities.
I see. So then the prayer goes on to say, help me to fix my eyes and my heart on you. It feels like a really conscious effort to resist that constant pull, the allure of the digital world.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We are constantly bombarded by notifications, updates, and demands for our attention every single day. Our attention is a finite resource. And when our attention is constantly being fragmented, it becomes so much harder to create the space for stillness, for reflection, for connection with something beyond ourselves.
It's almost like our devices are training us to have shorter attention spans. Like,
Mhm.
I read a study recently, and I think it said that the average person checks their phone something like over 150 times a day.
Wow.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
It is. It really is.
So it's no wonder we're all finding it harder to focus on things that require, sustained attention like prayer or meditation.
Yeah, that's a very real concern. And, it speaks to the importance of intentionality. What we choose to focus on really shapes our thoughts, our emotions, and our understanding of the world.
Hmm.
So we need to be really active in resisting that urge to be constantly plugged in.
I agree. And then, even amidst all of this tension with technology, the prayer goes on to affirm that God remains constant. You are still the all-powerful, all-sufficient, everlasting, and ever-loving God.
Such a beautiful reminder, isn't it?
It is.
It's like no matter how advanced our technology gets, it can't diminish God's presence. The technology might change, it might evolve, but the foundation of faith, that remains.
Absolutely. And then there's this line, help us to rightly place the things that war against our souls on a daily basis. What do you think? What are those things, those wars, in the context of technology?
That's a great question. I think it's probably different for everyone, but some of the common battles we're all facing these days might include, the constant pressure to be connected, that comparison game that just runs rampant on social media.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is. And then there's that endless scroll that can easily suck hours out of our day. Remember that study about checking our phones 150 times a day? Just imagine all the ways those little moments, they add up and they pull us away from the things that truly nourish our spirits.
It's like we're constantly being told we're not enough,
Yeah.
that we need to buy more, do more, be more. It's exhausting.
Yeah, it is. And it can make it really hard to hear that, that quiet, still voice within, the one that reminds us that we are inherently worthy and valuable, regardless of what the digital world might be screaming at us.
So where does all this leave us? I have to say, it feels like this deep dive has brought up more questions than answers.
Maybe that's the point.
Huh.
I mean, maybe the first step is simply recognizing the complexities of this relationship between faith and technology. We can't just reject technology completely, right? But we also can't let it dictate our lives and our values. It's about finding that delicate balance. It's about using technology intentionally to enhance our lives, not to detract from what really matters.
So then what does that actually look like in practice? How do we cultivate that intentionality?
Well, that's a really good question.
How do we prevent technology from becoming an obstacle in our spiritual lives?
That's the question I really hope you'll all keep wrestling with. Think about what practices or boundaries could help you maintain that balance. Maybe consider exploring practices like a digital Sabbath, where you set aside specific times to disconnect completely. Or maybe just try being more mindful of how and when you engage with technology. The key is to remember that we have the power to choose how we use technology. It doesn't have to control us. We can choose to make it a tool that supports our spiritual growth.
Instead of hindering it.
Exactly.
I think that's a great place to leave it for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.